Textbooks are an anchored source of material to eliminate truth. And so when they say textbooks are old fuddy-duddy stuff and we're going to the high-tech world, there's such a thing as ebooks. But whether it is a computerized program or it's a textbook, if it does not have an ISBN number or has not been registered material, it's not static. It will not stay the same. And it will constantly change. That's the danger in it, that whoever has got their finger on the switch. This one was a slide at which the veteran teachers, they knew the veteran teachers would resist them. Okay, this is one of their slides that's talking about the constructivist theory of learning. That's the thing you have in your hand there as to it. But that was, as far as I know, I've not had one school board member that have come up that I've either talked on the phone with or in these meetings that said that this theory was ever explained to them. It is a methodology of learning that is based on the tenets of socialism. This is the material that I went over myself that is on an assessment material for this year, 4th grade English 2012-2013. And so, because I produce children's books, and by the way, I'm not in competition with CScope. My desire is for children to accelerate at the top level. My students made perfect scores on standardized tests. The brain is absolutely incredible. The God that you said the prayer to earlier today gave us this incredible brain that can do so much more, and yet we hold people back from it. When given the right opportunity, anybody can excel at exceptional levels. I have not had one superintendent talk to me about how to get accelerated mastery in their school. But when I looked at this and did a readability test, 4th grade level, it's actually at the 6th grade level. This is a 5th grade one, and this is at the 9th grade level in doing it. Examples of indoctrination, you've heard about the Boston Tea Party, you've seen the stuff on the Islam and the quotes from the Quran. I think it was in Lake Jackson where they had the superintendent had 500 parents come. And she said, oh, we've gotten rid of all that lesson, it's not there. One little mom stood up and said, you lie. Because in her hand was the lesson that her daughter had had that week. And it had to do with them writing that statement right there, Allah is Almighty God, is one of the questions that they had to write down. This one has to do with bearing arms, two opposing views to it. This one has to do with a negative light on Roman Catholicism. This one has to do with from capitalism to communism. Why would you write that? Why would you want to go from capitalism to communism? Actually, information gives you specific characteristics which aren't bad, but what does a stairway indicate? Okay, so you can have indoctrination without having any words at all. This has been removed, by the way. And that's the flag where they had to write, imagine yourself in new socialist nations, and using the symbolism. This is the thing that came out with all of this hullabaloo since last November. You'd think that they would, have their P's and Q's. This came out in April, just a few weeks ago, and this had to do with your environmental footprint, which environmental responsibility is a good topic. I'm not saying that, but at the end you tally everything up, and we actually had to laugh at this because to be a good, responsible environmentalist, you have to not have a car, ride a bicycle, live in a house with only 1 to 3 people, don't have any siblings, grow your own food, and not eat meat. And then on the second page, make sure, here it comes, take a bath with someone else. And do that. And then at the end it says that if you have a low score, we need more people like you. If you have a high score, which means you have a car and a house with more than three rooms in it, and you eat meat, and you don't take baths with people, then we need to do away with you. Basically, we have Obamacare. There you go. This one had to do with population growth, which that again might be a good topic to do. Look how many days they were on this topic. 25 days is 5 weeks. Let me get through. And then the propaganda one that they had against the parents, teaching propaganda techniques and then relating it to how you treat your parents. And then this goes through everything that I basically told you. We've caught them in lies. They broke the laws for plagiarism. Oh, this is the one thing. Here we go. I'm glad he got this back up. Here's Willis Point. Anybody from Willis Point? You'll see that pretty good grades there. The unsatisfactory type down there, you'll go down to 55% failed at the English 3 level. This was last year, not this year. Then we have Grand Saline, and you have 80% failing the world geography, but you only have 5 students taking that, so that's really not fair. And actually, Grand Saline does really good, but now let me go back to this one. Willis Point, you'll notice geometry, 0% failed. Hey, 100% passed. Then you'll see Grand Saline, 0% in geometry failed, 100% passed. And then you'll come to Tyler and you'll say 0.5 failed in geometry, 99% passed, even though that 65% failed the English 3 writing and 56 failed the English 3 reading and 55% failed the English 1 writing. But the geometry, look at this. Oh, another one. And how do you pronounce that? Maybank, thank you. 0% failed geometry and 100% passed again, with only 94% failing in the writing. 94% failing in the writing of 177 students. Okay, now, we have some good geometry teachers, don't we? Whoa, go for it, but then don't be fooled. There's Canton. Canton actually is doing really well too, because they have 0% failing and 100% passing in geometry. Because if you'll look right here, always ask, always ask, always ask. Because to pass geometry, you only have to make a 38. So when they say, what about the money? We're going to hear some of that later on. The money is not only tied to what is paid for CScope, it's tied to this rider 42 of 152 million, which we're looking into. I think the latest they told me it was 180 million that was supposed to take care of it. Their dues to TASA, their particular interest group is 1,200,000 some odd thousand right here, and there are only 7 schools involved in that. So I think the estimate is about 91 million a year for them. And then in my West Texas, their dues are dealing with stuff that are not traditional. So Senator Dan Packard did say this was a big mess, but let me skip. The latest thing they did was also, get through this. Oh, they wanted to dispute the fact that it was connected to Bill Ayers. Well, Bill Ayers and Linda Darling-Hammond are connected. And Linda Darling-Hammond was one of their experts behind CScope. You don't have to go very far to find that connection in doing it. The other thing is that they didn't like people questioning them, so what did they do? And this went out to all the CScope schools. They started listing people who spoke up against them. Now, 2 of these people actually testified before the State Board and the Senate Education Committee. When you pull out a citizen and you make them a point of contention like this, and actually it's called witness retaliation, and it's 2 to 10. They're in trouble on a lot of legal issues. Okay, this I will close on. This is Stephen, just to give you a light note, because I didn't get to tell you any of my jokes, but because I'm trying to get to Mary here, or Alice next. Stephen, I had him for a number of years because no other school wanted him. He had Asperger's syndrome, still does, which means he's got an above average IQ, but seems to fall through the crack, doesn't follow the rules, is socially inept, will tell you the truth, calls me up on my birthday every year and tells me exactly how old I am, and reminds me of that fact. And when he was 10 years old, Clinton was president, so he comes in and says, Miss Mack, I want to write Clinton a letter. His parents are conservative, Stephen is a young impressionist mind. I want to write him a letter. I'm his friend. I said, Stephen, that sounds great. He says, but Ms. Mack, you always told me to do research, so that's what I'm going to do. And I said, go for it, Stephen. So for 2 weeks, this kid researched. And he researched, and he researched, and he brought his letter to me, and it was something like this. He said, Dear President Clinton, because he considered Bill Clinton a friend, came across friendly, this child wanted to help him. You're having a couple of problems lately. You've made some mistakes. Here they are. Number 1. Number 2, he listed 25 mistakes that Clinton had made, and he said, but I forgive you, your friend, Stephen. So when you talk about children and impressionism of the children, that they can run very deep, he now is a mature 20-year-old, it's been a few years back, and he's kind of switched around on his beliefs as far as liberalism to conservatism. But darn it, he still calls me on my birthday and tells me how old I am. Thank you.